Hello and welcome to the Barefoot Revolution podcast. We are here to recap match day 2 of the Champions League and give our predictions for the Premier League. Before all that, I need to talk to Vinayak Banerjee regarding his comment on Julian Nagelsmann, whom he said he's the greatest tactician right now in the world. So please give valuable feedback and your comment, Vinayak. Jump
I
in.
mean, the comment still holds. One game doesn't discredit a coach who has achieved wonderful things with limited resources over the last 3 years, and I think one of the youngest coaches in the world right now. Definitely poised for great things, but I think he didn't get it tactically wrong, but his players didn't turn up against Manchester United. They dominated the game for most parts, but we'll get to that result when we get to that result. I think it was a freak result, and I think at this rate, we'll keep predicting United will lose and United will win the Champions League just to prove us wrong. Absolutely devastated by that score line, but like kudos to United. I'm sure we'll come to that, but nothing against Julian Nagelsmann. Did you see the suit that he was wearing? That was just incredible. I mean, सोच वो पहन के 5 goals poor Nagelsmann, but. Well, there were lots of things in that game we will discuss, but a predictable start, right, JT? This was a question I was preparing for the week, throughout the week.
Okay, let's start our recap with the Atletico versus Salzburg match. Atletico won 3-2. Joao Felix finally turned up in a big match for Atletico and showed why they paid 120 million for him.
I mean, I was almost beginning to think that money wasted. Like he to be quite honest, since his transfer, he really has been ineffective, for the lack of a better word. He's been good for Portugal, but really ineffective. He did turn up. I wouldn't say he scored 2 goals, but I wouldn't say apart from that he impacted the game in a big way. And it's extraordinary to see Atletico Madrid leaking in so many goals, right? Like it's almost new territory for us fans. Like we've never seen Atletico Madrid. But there's this one player for Salzburg who was a potential Ballon d'Or contender. He's brilliant. He's a young Hungarian guy called Dominic Szoboszlai. I don't know how to pronounce it. He scored an exceptional goal against Lokomotiv. He scored again against Atletico, and he was the star of the show in that game. Kudos to him. But Joao Felix 2 goals. I don't think there was much more than that to discuss in the game. I think again Atletico leaking goals is something that we're new to. It was really exciting, the game, because Atletico scored first, and then Salzburg came right back in with the 2 goals, and then it triggered Atletico's response, and Felix scored the 2 goals. But yeah, I mean, this Champions League is going to be strange with the fixture congestion, with the 5 substitutes and teams literally changing in the second half, completely changing in the second half. And we are going to see weird results, but kudos to Atletico. They fought back, they won. Otherwise, if they would have lost this one, would have been the curtains for them. But again, their fighting spirit, Simeone, typical Simeone. Kudos to them. Good game. But nothing much. We can't overanalyze it. Like it was what it was.
Yeah, it was a very important win for Atletico. If they'd lost this one, they would have been under tremendous pressure, having lost 2 in a row. But they came back won the match. As Champi said, a very important win for Atletico, this one.
A good match was between Borussia Mönchengladbach, not Dortmund, versus Real Madrid. Somehow Madrid actually got a point from the match. Casemiro scored in the 93rd minute to give them a point. And right now in that group, Real Madrid are 4th. And they face Inter next.
2 games back to back.
Back to back Inter, and anything can happen in that match. So it might be Jose Mourinho playing Real Madrid in the Europa soon.
It's incredible, right? I watched the game. I knew the game was going to be an absolute cracker of a game because like Madrid have a really really shitty defense. A lot of players not pulling their weight, and to give Mönchengladbach credit, I think they went for it. Great sort of the tactical formation was brilliant, and playing Marcus Thuram slightly towards the left, and Marcus Thuram was and they played Luca Vasquez as the right back, Real Madrid. He had a good game, but like Thuram just ran the show. It was unbelievable to see how like the gap has come down. Like if it was 2 years back, Real Madrid versus Mönchengladbach, it would have been we wouldn't even have predicted it was going to be a good game because it was going to be so straightforward and so Real Madrid. But incredible how football is working these days, and kudos to Mönchengladbach. But having said that, I think Zidane made the right substitutions. He got an Eden Hazard, and that changed the game. Good to see Hazard playing for a change. Lots of issues over the past few months with like being overweight and also being overburdened by that $100 million price tag. But he had a sensational game. He came and he changed it. Good link up with Benzema, although he didn't play a direct part in both the goals, but like his introduction changed the game. Also, Luka Modric is having a sensational season again. Like he seems like he's somehow found his form back, and like he was instrumental in getting that draw. But it was Eden Hazard on the pitch that made the difference. Jetta, what do you think?
But I think Madrid were really lucky to get a point out of this one. I felt that Mönchengladbach they would have gone out to win the match. They were really lucky to get a point out of this one. And if you look at it, the Spanish teams in Champions League, they're not really performing well.
Yeah, I think the English teams are performing well, and we'll come to that soon. But it's the downfall of Spain, right? Like, and it's completely shifted the weight of balance over the last 2 seasons because it was all Spain. Remember that season where there were 3 Spanish teams in the semifinals of the Champions League, and there were 2 Spanish teams.
Yeah, they absolutely dominated the Champions League
for the last.
Even the Europa League, it was Sevilla.
Exactly, Europa League, it was Sevilla, and now it's the cycle of football, right? Like they've dominated for so long now, and now both clubs are in decline, Real and Barca. Even Atletico, they're going through a change. So interesting to see how other teams are stepping in, especially Germany, the Farmers League so-called. And like keeping the Leipzig performance apart, I think Mönchengladbach showed that it's not just Bayern and Leipzig and Dortmund. I think they are also going to punch above their weight. And the funny thing is, Inter had a worse game at Shakhtar. And so Inter have drawn 2. Mönchengladbach have drawn 2. Real Madrid have lost 1. Shakhtar sits on the top of the table. Now Real have got 2 games against Inter. Like, what a group this is turning out to be. Like, it's phenomenal. Like, absolutely phenomenal. Brilliant football.
But then a declining Barca also beat Juventus. A declining Barca is beating Juventus so comfortably. Morata scored a hat-trick, but they were all offside. And Juventus ended up with 0 shots. They had 0 shots, not on target. It was shots, 0 shots. Like the FotMob website shows that they had 0 shots in the match.
0 shots. And the funny thing was, every time that it's legal where I stay to bet online. I used this site called Bet365. It went mad because every time Morata scored, it just went mad. Like it was crazy. But I think JT, we both agreed. I think all 3 of us agreed for a change that it's a shit Juventus. It's a shittier Barca, and so it's not going to be one of the games of the Champions League. It definitely wasn't. What was surprising to see was Barca playing so well, and that was partly because of I think the whole pressure of Josep Bartomeu leaving the club, resigning, and suddenly they turn up and they become this different side. And also I think Ousmane Dembele gives them a little bit of pace, which they don't have. Apart from him, I don't think they've got a pacey winger. So that played sort of to their advantage a bit. But again, I don't think it was convincing from either of the teams. Like so slow, the gameplay was just so slow, labored. Juventus, they don't know what to do. Like, piche se slow. Like Cuadrado, pata nahi, he's still like you've had tactical changes over the past 5 years, but how is Cuadrado still the right back? You can't play Cuadrado in a back 4. Like it's ridiculous. You can play him as a wing back, but he was playing a right back, and like, they were just picking pockets, Barcelona, and like it was a very sad game to watch. Like 2 of the powerhouses of European football, and I'm not talking about powerhouses 10 years back. Like powerhouses like literally 2 years back, and how the mighty have fallen. Like it's incredible. Like it was a shitty performance from Juventus. Like you said, 0 shots on target speaks for itself. But it wasn't great from Barcelona. It was just comparatively better. Like, it's ridiculous we're speaking this way about two of the greatest teams in the history of football.
And Pillow still hasn't figured out कि उस team के साथ करना क्या है. He's just trying to figure out कि किस तरीके से he'll make his team click, but they've just not got anything going for them. They do not have any style of play that they rely on. It's just they're just trying to make sure that the team is around Ronaldo, and it's just not working for them.
And there are already talks of Pirlo being replaced by and sacked and replaced by Max Allegri, who they sacked in the first place. Who was the one coach who got them together, like really, really well. And then it all fell apart. I think the Ronaldo transfer also played against them because it was almost a step back for the club. Not in terms of the money they made of the Ronaldo and Ronaldo's performance as an individual, but as a team, I think they got a little confused when Ronaldo stepped in, because now the whole game, the play, is to facilitate Ronaldo scoring. And when he doesn't play, they're completely clueless. Wherein like Max Allegri's Juventus, you remember the Paul Pogba, the Alvaro Morata as well. Like he used to play for Juventus. They had Kingsley Coman, and it's such a team cohesion. They reached the Champions League final twice. I think twice. I think. Twice. They reached Champions League final twice, and it was incredible. They played as a team. Now they're just bunch of, like, not even a bunch of Indians. It's just one person, Ronaldo. I think that's what's happened to them, unfortunately, and it's the same with Barcelona, right?
I think this is what happens, right? When you get a huge transfer in for a club, you pay a lot of money, or you get a huge superstar for a club. You have to build a team around that player, and if you do not get it right, it just destroys the whole team. You just don't know how to get the team to work if you can't get the team to work around that player. Exactly. And you can't kick that player out because you bought him for a reason.
You can't kick that player out. You can't kick that player when that player is Cristiano Ronaldo. Exactly. Good luck kicking him out. Like that's But yeah, shitty game, really bad game. And I think this is where I think we should get a pat on our backs when we said that the Ajax game, the Ajax Atalanta game would be the game to watch. And that was the future of football. This is the past, right? And that was the future of football. I don't know if you're going to discuss it, but that game had everything. Like they were playing these tactical formations I don't think I've seen before in football. Like they were playing two right wingers. Like I think there's this player called, I forgot his name, but like Ajax at one point of time, we're playing two wingers, and like their right winger was moving over to the left for an overload, and their left winger was moving to the right for an overload. That's brilliant. And then what Atlanta were doing is they were playing inverted triangles in the midfield. I don't even know what that means, but I read somewhere some analysis that they were playing inverted triangles, like this players switching all over the place and creating these new triangles everywhere on the pitch. And like fancy words, I don't know, like these maybe just footballing jargons, but like apparently that I watched that game, a little bit of that game, and that game was the future of football because no superstars. It's just the players that you have to play with, and it's tactically brilliant. So kudos to Team Barefeet for predicting that.
Okay, then talking about prediction, we got one very, very wrong on a massive scale. So United versus Leipzig is next. They are ranked on 15th in the Premier League, and now they have won back-to-back Champions League matches. So how to explain that?
I think the final scoreline in the end was exaggerated. I mean, if you see the whole match, I don't think the match deserved to be a final. So the scoreline in the end was definitely exaggerated. Rashford came and scored a hat-trick, which is definitely very good. I mean, Rashford is a very good player. There's no denying that. But I United won it, proved us wrong again. But I definitely don't think it was a fair result.
Absolutely. I think there is a reason why they're 15th in the Premier League and they're playing so well in the Champions League. It's because the style of their play. They're completely reliant on counter-attacking football. They find it very difficult to break teams down. In the Premier League, they come up against opposition who give them a lot of the ball and sit back and attack on the counter. They've played Crystal Palace who have done that. They've played Spurs who have done that. They played Brighton who did that brilliantly. In the Champions League, they are not the favorites now. So they're almost the underdogs going into it. and teams attacked them. Like PSG attacked them constantly. Leipzig was pushing up, and that gives them a lot of advantage because they've got the players who can play in those spaces behind. That's why when a player like Rashford comes in and the opposition is tired, it's so easy for him. And like he destroyed Upamecano. The world was talking about Upamecano being this absolute legend, and Rashford came in and absolutely destroyed him and played him out of the park. So I agree with JT, like the score shouldn't have been 5-0, but United deserved to win that game. And deserve to win that game because they got their tactics right. And they will keep getting their tactics right in the Champions League because they'll keep playing better teams. They will keep attacking United, and there'll be a lot of space behind for the United front three to exploit. And they're going to be good this Champions League. I think we read them wrong. If they would have been in a league, in a group like Chelsea's, they would have finished fourth. Because all of the teams would have sat back and not let them play their football. But because they got into this group, they have almost as good as qualified, right? Like they have got Basak Shahir 2 games and they'll win 1. And so they have qualified. So I think this United squad is set up for the Champions League. They'll struggle in the Premier League.
You need to talk about Rashford, what he's doing outside the pitch.
Brilliant.
The kind of work he's doing.
Brilliant work. And I think that's one of the important things of being a sportsman is like you're only as good as you're as good on the field as you're off it. A lot of people have had careers destroyed, like, you know, great players like Adriano had drug issues. Ronaldinho faded off. Even Ronaldo, the phenomena, he faded off because of lifestyle issues. And I think it's super important for young players to become sort of, you know, more community driven. And what Rashford has done is not unprecedented, but it's brilliant. Like free meals for children. And it sounds so stupid, right? Like someone has to actually fight for this cause. And like he's come up trumps, and he's forced the Prime Minister to think about it. Although the Prime Minister is quite adamant that he's not going to do anything about it, but he's got 1 million signatures now, and it's only going to increase. And so phenomenal work. I think he's been doing that across the summer.
इस पे एक जोक आया था कि outside the pitch वो बच्चों को खाना खिला रहा है और जब उसको पता चला Leipzig 11-year-old है, so he started feeding them goals.
Gold. But Upamecano doesn't look like 11-year-old. उसको इतना चढ़ाया था मैच से पहले. Oh, Diode Upamecano. He's brilliant. एक गेम से कुछ पता नहीं चलता, but he got destroyed by Rashford. Absolutely taken apart. But kudos to Marcus Rashford and Ole. Ole is doing. Like, the thing about Ole is, as soon as he's threatened, he finds a way. जब उसको safety होता है, तब भाई सब भूल जाते हैं. But he's found a way. And now he's got bench strength. To search, Bruno Fernandes came off the bench. And Bruno Fernandes ka wo no-look assist and Marcus Rashford's timing of that run, he would have been offside if he was one step on the other side of the half line. But Bruno, like, no-look assist, he was looking the other way and then he passed the ball. And then Rashford, because he was in his own half, it wasn't offside. I think it just shows that, like, if United, if they can sort things out, they're a very strong squad. Leaving the defense aside, which plays in some games and doesn't in others. But I was very impressed by both performances against PSG and against Leipzig, having predicted that they are not going to do well, but they've completely proven me wrong. Having said that, I still think they lose against Istanbul.
Domination by the Premier League teams. Huh?
Domination.
Not a single goal conceded by them, like all 4 of them, except for Spurs in the Europa League. So let's talk about the Premier League game week 7. It's prediction time, guys. We'll go match by match this time around. Huh?
Sure.
So starting with Wolves versus Crystal Palace, which will start in like 1 hour now. So what's your take on that?
And 3 of us will predict. And we will keep a note of it because we know what happens when the 2 of us predict, right? Especially something. Wolves versus Crystal Palace. I think Wolves to win it, to nick it by a goal.
I think it will be a draw.
I want Wolves to win. Pedro Neto to score because he's in my team.
Fantasy League wishful thinking.
So Wolves to win.
And draw. I think that's not a bad choice, but fingers crossed.
Sheffield United versus Manchester City.
What a game! City are in decent form. They figured out a formula to to beat teams without playing well. I think it's going to be City to win it.
Sheffield has not won a match now this season. Abhi tak.
No.
I think City, we're going to see a huge scoreline, hopefully. So I'll go for a comfortable City win.
Who do you have from City in your fantasy?
Hopefully क्यों?
Nice.
Sterling again.
Scoreline.
मेरे पास Sterling है.
Okay.
What if Jesus Navas reincarnate, who has been playing really well, ends up scoring a hat trick? You never know.
Sterling assist करेगा ना.
De Bruyne
I don't think it's
assist.
going to be a lot of goals.
1-0 or even 2-1 win for City.
Probably.
Okay, Burnley versus Chelsea. The thing is, they sorted the defense, but you still don't know what's the formation like, what's the gameplay will be like. Will he play 4-2-3-1? Will he play 4-3-3? Where?
Or 3-4-3.
Or 3-4-3. Nobody has.
Nobody has a clue. Nobody has a clue. Like even he doesn't have a clue. Like,
और कौन सा प्लेयर कहाँ खेलेगा ये भी नहीं पता है ना.
हाँ मतलब जब माउंट और पुलिसिच खेल रहे हैं तो पुलिसिच इज ऑन द राइट विंग जबकि उसका फेवरेट पोजीशन लेफ्ट विंग है एंड माउंट इज ऑन द लेफ्ट विंग. माउंट इज नॉट अ विंगर.
I think Pulisic right खिलाना is like massive waste of talent. But I just think it's going to be very, very scrappy game, and I don't want to say this, but I think it's going to be a draw, especially after the Champions League. They've traveled to Krasnodar and they're going to travel back. I think it's going to be a draw, a score draw.
और चेल्सी के लक में भी ऐसा होता है जब कोई टीम जीतती नहीं है they face Chelsea and they then turn into prime Barca. Burnley prime
Burnley will
Barca
never be prime Barca.
टीकी टाका करके Zuma नाच रहा है वहाँ पे.
Sean Dyche अगर ये podcast सुन रहा होगा ना, Burnley will never be prime Barca. But they'll give a fight. They gave Spurs should have drawn that game of fluke goals, but it's not going to be easy for Chelsea. It's not going to be easy for them. But I think it's a draw or Chelsea will nick it. But it's not going to be easy.
I think it'll be a Chelsea win. Not a comfortable win, but a Chelsea win nonetheless.
It will be a Chelsea win because Werner is my captain. Okay, Liverpool versus West Ham United.
Pool all the way.
Pool, yeah.
Although they lost Fabinho as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll have a mid, but even West Ham don't have Antonio, who's been their majority goal scorer, and so it's Jota has stepped up really well. It's interesting to see how he's fit into the team and like he's sort of mitigated some of the absences. But I think Liverpool too much at home.
Yeah, I think Liverpool will win it. Aston
Villa versus Southampton.
Southampton. Stunning form. Stunnings. They are a team with an ideology. I think they're one of the very few teams in the Premier League or in the world with an ideology. They will nick it. They were brilliant against Everton. Absolutely played them off the park. And they'll do the same to Villa.
Yeah. Southampton to win it.
Southampton, I think it will be a draw. Aston Villa have a good defense actually. They have a very good defense.
They do.
Right now. Newcastle versus Everton.
It's a good game. It's not going to be easy. I think it's going to be a draw because it's Newcastle home, right? Newcastle have they don't want to play football. I don't think they've players who want to play football. This is the worst Newcastle team I've ever seen. So they're just going to sit and defend and hopefully counter-attack with Callum Wilson. I think it's going to be a very boring.
Everton are without James Rodriguez this time.
ये पिछली बार ही बोला था उसने.
इस बार पक्का आउट है. लास्ट टाइम उसने लास्ट मोमेंट पे बोला था कि बहुत जल्दी रिकवर हो गया, but this time he's definitely out.
Okay, now I think this is the main match of the game week. United.
मेरा Everton to win है भाई वो.
Okay.
Huh?
Everton to win. Everton to win.
I said. I think draw.
United versus Arsenal, the main match of the game week.
Oh, what a game. Arsenal are looking like the Arsenal of old, huh? After all that jazz, like against Leicester, they were dismal. Or he sucked. He's done what Lampard did in the last game. To shore up the defense, he has compromised on their goal scoring ability. So Laka playing center, like it's not really. I don't know. It felt really uncomfortable to watch Arsenal. Like they're very solid, very very solid, but they don't have There's no there's no thrust going forward. Like it's almost too predictable. वो साका कभी-कभी पीछे से पागल जैसे दौड़ता है, तब कुछ मतलब अलग लगता है. It's so predictable. Like I think United are favorites to win this one. I'll go with United to win.
I think it'll be a draw. I I don't see United winning this one, nor Arsenal winning this one.
It will be boring draw, JT.
Boring draw बोल 6-7 हो जाएगा.
Boring नहीं है भाई.
Okay, Tottenham versus Brighton.
Spurs are so bad. Like they're the worst. They're the worst. Like in terms of like fluidity, they're the worst team to watch. They don't have any fluidity. वो बस केन को बॉल मिलता है, वो सॉन गोल मारता है, सॉन को बॉल मिलता है केन. Apart from that, they have no gameplay whatsoever. But I still think they'll win it. Too much pressure.
Bale start करेगा?
नहीं, ये मेन पॉइंट था उस मैच का, यूरोपा लीग के लॉस के बाद से. ओजे ने बोला कि उसको पता है कि एग्जैक्टली अब कौन से प्लेयर खेलने हैं, अब वही खेलेंगे जब तक कोई एक मर ना जाए.
20 million per year, उतना ही कुछ बेल का है शायद, अराउंड some 10 to 20 million. उसको ले आके बोल रहा है कि now I figured out मेरा टॉप स्टार्टिंग कौन है. और वो भी इंस्टाग्राम पे. कुछ भी lost it यार, completely lost it. But he'll win. He'll nick it.
Yeah, Spurs.
नेक्स्ट मैच बहुत खतरनाक है भाई, मतलब फुलहम वर्सेस वेस्ट ब्रॉम.
और तू सोच, ये पता है वो जो पेपर व्यू नहीं है,
15 पाउंड देंगे.
ये मैच के लिए 15 पाउंड जो देगा ना, वो टीवी तोड़ेगा भाई.
और पार्कर बोलेगा खुद मैं नहीं दो, मत देखो.
It's actually a very important game. मतलब मजाक aside, this is probably the only game which either of the two teams can win just by default. So I think it's going to be. I think Fulham will nick it. Like enough is enough. Scott Parker नहीं तो खत्म. Like this is it. Like it's his last chance. So they'll probably nick it.
मैं चंपी के ऑपोजिट जाता हूँ, वेस्ट ब्रॉम टू विन इट.
मैं तो लॉफ्टस चीक को देखना चाहता हूँ. He should make an impact. तो Fulham will win.
Fantastic. ये जब हम opposing लेते हैं ना, तो वो safe हो जाते हैं, क्योंकि कोई ना कोई तो बोलेगा ही. जब साथ में सब. We've played very safe this weekend. Very very safe.
Leeds versus Leicester.
Oh, what a game यार.
क्या मैच हो गया यार ये तो.
बट इसमें कैस्टानिया इंजर्ड है, शायद जनवरी में वापस आएगा.
वो भी
जॉनी इवेंस भी नहीं है.
Calvin Phillips also injured. Oh, वो फोफाना को खेलते हुए देखा है, बाप रे बाप. वो water transfer. I don't know how these teams manage to pull off these brilliant transfers. No, Cengiz Under क्या सही खेल रहा है. Wesley Fofana क्या player है यार, sensational. So I don't think defensively उतना problem होगा, but it'll be an entertaining game. 0-0 भी हुआ तो it'll be the most entertaining 0-0 you've ever watched in your life. So I think Leeds will nick it. I really want them to.
I think Leeds will nick it.
है ना?
Yeah.
They should keep a clean sheet.
क्लीन शीट तो नहीं पता यार, पर बहुत बहुत ज्यादा सही मैच होगा. दोनों टीम्स एंड टू एंड मैच.
वो वाला पिक्चर देखा था जो मैंने तुम लोग को दिया था कि 95th मिनट में 7 प्लेयर भाग रहे हैं बॉक्स के अंदर.
But Leicester are the only team who can easily break that. वो जेमी वार्डी को तू कहीं से भी खिला देना into space behind defense, वो पहुंच जाता है. I think he's one of the greatest. Like when the other team is playing the high line, I think he's one of the greatest strikers to have ever played in the English Premier League. Because if you see his record against the top teams, very few.
City को उड़ा तो दिया था उसने.
City को उड़ा दिया, and he scored what 9 goals against City, 9-10 against Arsenal. मतलब
सारे top teams के साथ perform किया है यार वो. I don't think there's a match against the so-called big six that he's not performed against. He turns up every crucial match.
Every crucial match. I think I want Leeds to nick it, but I think Leicester will have a lot of chances.
But yeah, talking about the striker, Leeds Cup, Bamford, you have to give him credit. When Leeds were promoted, there were a lot of question marks on whether or not Bamford will be able to lead the line for Leeds, or whether or not he's suitable to lead the line for Leeds in the Premier League. But He's really played well. He scored what 6 goals in
Yeah,
6
yeah.
matches. He's got 2 assists.
He
He's
scored
playing
2.
really well.
He scored 2 in his first 40 starts. No, not for, I think.
उसके साथ ऐसा हुआ था कि कुछ कोच को ये भी नहीं पता था कि he's a left footer,
Huh?
and he was sidelined before without even knowing that he's a left footer. So
At Crystal Palace.
तो
And at Crystal Palace, I think उसका problem हो गया था कि the coach didn't like him because he's a very different footballer because he comes from wealth. He studied in a private school. तो वो कभी fit ही नहीं हुआ. मतलब the coaches think he's too pompous. But that's where Bielsa comes in, right? Like he doesn't care what you've done in your life, right? It's on the pitch what you have to, like where you have to perform. And he's changed everyone on that team. It's brilliant to see how they're playing. Like that, it's football that is beyond their value, right? Like
और when they signed Rodrigo, मुझे लगा था he's going to replace Bamford, but both of them are playing together in the team.
Yeah, and so the Leeds logo is side before self. And
brilliant, yeah.
Like wo jo embodiment hai, like I think like Bielsa should come and coach in these business schools, like where they teach nothing about leadership. Like ye hota hai leadership, yeah. Like incredible. But really hope Leeds wins. Winners ko.
Winners ko. So you want to name them?
So Bablu, who's an ardent fan. Congratulations, Bablu. I think Bablu was the first to answer it. It was the Panenka, and someone mentioned it. Rahul Dante. Rahul Dante mentioned that it destroyed Joe Hart's career 20 years later. and we've got one right answer from a certain Nikhil Negi, who's not a subscriber. So sorry, Nikhil Negi, you're not going to get points because you have to subscribe to get points. So bad luck. And we've got Alok. Thanks, Alok, for watching. And Alok is extremely interactive with us, and that's the right answer again. So watch out for this week's. It's going to be difficult. It's going to get more and more difficult. And do your research, and you're going to win a great prize.
So thank you, guys. See you all in the next episode.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, JT.